Okay. What? We are going to get this down, I swear. Okay, Cory had to go get some cough drops. So hopefully he'll be back here in just a minute. I just decided to get it started so that we could get going and get people over here. Hopefully people will come back. Thanks, Lisa. Welcome back. Oh my gosh. Technology is so fun. Right when we think we have it down and then we don't. And it's like something like that happens, but we unconnected everything, reconnected everything. So hopefully at least the crackling on the mic is not bad anymore. Yep, we are back. Sorry about that. We were going to chat for at least another 30 minutes and then we will have to go because it is a busy work day for us too. It's perfect. Thank you. I know one day we're going to get this thing down. We definitely, now I'm going to have to go back and listen to some of the podcasts that we've already filmed and make sure that make sure that the words the sound is good. Sound is better. Yeah. Thank you. The way that the MacBooks work now, there's like nothing, you can't plug anything into the MacBook. So you have to have an extender, and then the extender, like that's where you can plug your microphones and your camera and everything into that. And that's kind of where we've been falling, is that little extender is apparently not a very good quality one. So Kiana is a sweetheart and went and bought a new one. Cory is a comic and says, "Hi Mel, where's Cory?" in the chat. There he is.
I'm back.
Yeah, Cory had to go get some tea and wipe his nose. So we'll chat for about another 30 minutes and answer your questions for about another 30 minutes. Robin's baby spirit is messing with your lives. No kidding.
I know.
No, is this back on? Yep. Yeah. Well, so we'll chat for about another 30 minutes with you guys and answer some more questions if anyone has any more questions.
How many baby spirits does she have up there still?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Somebody knows the teachings and the beliefs of the AUB.
Well, it's because Robin says them.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, okay. Robin said on the show that she felt like she had spirit babies.
Nice.
So a lot of people I actually had a question.
Gotta sage this room then.
Yeah, I had a question come on one of our last posts that we did, and people were asking about did they think that the AUB was a part of the reason that these marriages ended? And one of the things I'll say to that, because it will go in with the spirit baby thing, is that in the AUB, the Browns were highly, highly discouraged from doing sister wives, and they chose to do it anyways, which is fine. That's their option to do it. But one of the things that they were told is that it would ruin the sanctity of the marriage, that they considered these things sacred. And so it would ruin the sacredness of the marriages. And things like spirit babies and stuff like that are some of the things that they believe in, that we were taught our whole lives. And that's one of the things that a lot of the world doesn't understand that. And so when Robin makes a comment like that, what it does is it kind of takes away the sacredness of the fact that she believes she has spirit babies. Cory's back and reading ahead in the comments. Yes, he is. That's the way he does.
She caught up. Holy cow.
Yeah. So that's one of the biggest reasons that they were advised not to expose this lifestyle on national television, is because they felt that it would take away the sacredness of what the religious beliefs were. And so, yeah, spirit babies are one of those things that they definitely believe. Kiana says, "I try. I'm rookie support tech over here." She's amazing. Robin spilled the beans on the spirit babies. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mel is a badass mom. She can multitask. Thanks. That's called being the oldest of 2,500 children. So yeah, hopefully my mom jumped back over here too. But yeah, so that's why, in Robin's, she kind of just flippantly throws things out there without thinking about what she's saying. And so then people have questions. They want to know if she has spirit babies. They want to know. So that's another question that I had.
Hi, Norway.
Do we have somebody from Norway? Mm-hmm. Oh, very nice. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Do you say it Kirsty? Probably Kirsty. So, but when Robin offered to surrogate for Mary, how does that fit into the whole spirit baby thing?
Mhm.
And would the AUB even allow that? Because is that, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the beliefs are on surrogacy and that kind of stuff. I've never heard of anyone else ever doing that. Have you?
No, the way we were raised is if God wanted you to have a kid, he would make it happen type thing.
Yeah.
So
if he didn't, then
if he didn't, you didn't get one. So
yeah. And unfortunately, Mary, I'm sure, got a lot of judgment about that. Like, why aren't you worthy enough for God to give you another kid? I'm sure she judged herself that way too, which is so disgusting.
Jacked up beliefs.
Yeah. But that is one of the things, is that if you're not welcome, or if you're not worthy enough for God to bless you with children, what do you say?
Yeah.
Thinking isn't a strength for Robin. It's not, unfortunately. Yeah. So she'll pop off with some of these things, and then the viewers are like, wait, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've even seen it in a couple of the episodes where Robin will pop off with something, and you see Christine and like even Janelle go, oh gosh, whatever. So,
yeah, Robin, God wanted you to have sweet Dayton.
Yeah, God wanted her to have Dayton. Her purity was worth the price, worth the sacrifice.
So was her ex-husband's that she stole from him.
Yeah. Somebody says, is it just this? Okay, the spirit babies is also an LDS thing. It is. It is. Yeah. Which makes it more confusing, as Robin says it's special to her alone. It's not. It's an LDS teaching. It's always been an LDS teaching that I believe. Joseph Smith taught it, is what I remember.
I have no idea who taught it.
Yeah, that you covenanted, you made promises as a family in the pre-existence before you were born. You made covenants and promises as a family that you would find your parents and that you would find your family.
If you ask the 14-year-old me, I had to do all sorts of studying, so I knew all the passages and where to get it. The 50-year-old me dumped all of that stuff. I've deleted so much of the doctrine that I was raised with and where to get it from.
Right. So. Right. Let's see. I love how Cody replied to Robin that all of his babies are blonde or something like that. That's funny. Yeah. I guess the two that they have together are blonde too, it looks like. Let's see. Is it just AUB or LDS too? Remember Grandma talking about spirits wanting to be born with a specific purpose to help with mankind. Yeah. So that's one of the things that we were taught, especially in the AUB, is that we were a more righteous people. We were blessed. We were special. We were whatever. And so we were taught that we had covenanted with our families in the pre-existence to come and keep the true gospel of Jesus Christ alive. Oh, what a horrible thing for Mary. Your worth is based on how many children you can bear. That's why it was such a big deal. It really was a big deal for Mary to not have very many kids. Let's see, 15-year-old Cory was dressed to his chin, and it probably blocked the information from coming in.
Yep.
Honestly, when we first started dating, you have no idea how many times I had to unbutton his shirt. I was like, what are you doing? Are you choking? But it's funny. He has we have some nieces and nephews up in Pinesdale, and every one of those kids have their shirts buttoned all the way up to their neckline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely a way to stay modest and stay covered. So,
and if we ever unbuttoned it like this, my mom would be like, "What are you guys doing?" We'd have to, sorry, came out of my room undressed, buttoned down.
But what's funny is this is how they dressed, but then they went naked. They skinny dipped all the time in the drinking water in Pinesdale.
Yeah. Well, this is because you didn't want to get your clothes wet. If you came home with wet clothes, you'd get your butt beat too. So we skinny dipped everywhere growing up.
They did.
So that we'd come home with dry clothes.
The first time I met Cory, we were down in Lake Powell, and my husband and I at the time, my ex-husband, we got in the water and we were swimming, and there's Cory and his brothers on the side of our houseboat, naked as a jaybird, swimming. And I was like, oh oh my gosh, I gasped because I was so modest and so well covered. And so, yeah.
Yeah, Jay Patel, you grew up with us. I know.
Smells unbuttoning
way too
shirts when
funny.
neither of you were married. It was very
Yes.
racy.
Mhm.
Very racy. Somebody says, I used to be RLDS. I don't know what that is. RLDS?
It's the reorganized.
Oh, the reorganized LDS
where
church?
Emma, they took the main church. The LDS church was
Okay.
followed, what's his name over
Okay.
here? See, I don't even remember their names anymore. Brigham
Yeah.
Young. So.
And spirit babies were a thing there too, although I don't think they were necessarily believed to be assigned to certain parents. See, and I don't think it's so much of an assignment as it was that you committed to each other to be a family. And so you committed, hey, I want you to be my parents. There was choice involved. It wasn't necessarily an assignment. Let's see, if Robin was so competitive with Christine and Janelle in terms of numbers of children, why do you think she stopped at only 5?
Because she got the last 2. So they had all quit. So she gave him a boy and a girl, and there, I'm the best favorite wife. And they were on their way out probably. And so she's like, oh, okay, I don't have to compete now.
I think that's probably true.
So,
yeah, I think that's true, is that she had the last 2. And so she didn't need to compete with anyone else. Because, Cody takes pride in his younger kids, he said. Do outside people still join the AUB? Any idea if sister wives have helped or hindered the numbers? I know some outside people still do join, but I would say if anything, it's hindered it more than anything. Big Love came out back in the early 2000s, late 2006, 2007-ish era. And that's really what spiked people's interest in polygamy, was the show Big Love. And then Sister Wives came out shortly thereafter. And so I know that's what really spiked people's interest, was the HBO series. And so they had an influx of people trying to come into the AUB, like trying to investigate. And I think that's when they really started like clamping down, like you need a temple recommend to go to a high school graduation now. And so that they've really tried to, what's the word I'm thinking of? They're really tried to make it really hard for people just to walk right into the church building.
Yeah.
Where back in the day,
knowing people.
Yeah.
You can't just go in there. It's not open to the public.
Yeah.
It's not even open to ex-members either. You really do have to go through the ringer and kiss the ring of the prophet.
Cory always says that.
Get your,
bend the knee and kiss the ring.
Yeah. And then once you've done all that, then you're welcomed in.
Yeah.
Unless you're like me and I just go in, do you know who my father-in-law is? And they let me in. So.
Yeah. No, for high school graduations, they do want people to have temple recommends to come to a graduation. Robin did want another kid, but Cody said that he was too old to handle another Ariella. Oh gosh, that's where her brown-haired spirit boy. Oh, that's where her brown-haired boy spirit baby came from. Oh, that makes sense. So she wanted another one and he told her no. Oh, shoot. Somebody says, yeah, that's not a good thing. In the AUB, that's highly discouraged. If a woman wants to have another baby, you're supposed to always comply. So that's funny.
There are 70-year-old men that comply.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my grandpa had his last baby at 75, something like that. If my mom jumped back on, she could tell me the exact age.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my grandpa was 75 when he had his last child. Your dad was how old when he had his last child?
In his 60s.
Cory's dad was in his mid 60s when he had his last child. Let's see. Do you mean that they try to come in undercover? Yeah, they do. They come in undercover and try to get an idea. There was one girl who came in that really caused a huge stink after Big Love. And she came in and she was like all investigating it. And she was a reporter and ended up going and doing a huge story on that. And we were going to look that up. We were talking about that on another live and we were going to look that up and I forgot. And she did a huge article on it. Funniest article ever. I read it and I was like, oh my gosh, I know who she's talking about. It sounds like a club where you have to be verified by other members. It is. It's exactly what it is now. I've always watched the Escaping Polygamy shows. Yeah, the Escaping Polygamy that came out on I don't know what channel. I don't know if it was on TLC. That one was not very. In the AUB, you don't have to escape anything. You just get in your car and drive away, or you just don't.
Out.
Yeah. Yeah, Cory got kicked out.
Come on, let me back in.
But no, in the AUB, like, you don't have to escape anything. You just stop going. Nobody cares unless your individual family cares, and then they'll come after you. But other than that, that's like a family problem. That's not an AUB problem. Can't go to see a high school graduation if you haven't seen an endowment performance. Very true. It's so bad. Do they allow African American people in the AUB? They don't. Nope, they don't believe in that. There are some. My kids are Hispanic, so they do have a temple in Mexico. That they very much. There's a ton of Hispanic people. There's a couple of Asian people, but nope, they don't allow.
They still believe in Brigham Young's racist teachings, so they just hold on to those.
Brigham Young was very much a racist. Very much a racist. Let's see. I think Robin was afraid her children would love or like the other moms, especially Christine. She saw how bonded they were to the other moms. Plus, she definitely has control issues. She does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody says, Mel, you're going to need a new endowment name so your ex can't claim you in the celestial kingdom. Yeah. Cory and I are going to have like a secret handshake or something that it'll be like, hey, babe, don't forget I'm over here.
I think we'll just recognize each other.
Yeah, so they definitely do that.
Well, I guess not, because I won't be in the celestial kingdom.
Yeah, you'll be the servant in our mansion in heaven.
Whatever rankings they'll give me, the terrestrial.
Cory claims he's going to be out fishing, and I'm like, no, you're going to be the pool boy.
Yeah.
Okay, random question. Based on the AUB beliefs, are they racist? Talking about the battle where one group of people sided with the devil. Okay, that's a big topic right there. I wouldn't say the AUB teaches racism as a whole. I think that's more individual people. I don't think that at least I was never taught. How do I answer that one? Because yes, I can see why people think that, and yes, I think that. But it's not a teaching that's taught over the pulpit that you are supposed to be racist. That's not what a teaching that they teach.
Yeah, God loves everybody. They teach that. They just, I mean, and it's not just one race. There's other people that aren't allowed the highest keys of glory and stuff based on who they are or who their families can be or stuff like that. You have to kiss the ring to get up to the thing. It's just if and they give you your blessings, telling you what lineage you come from, and that's full of crap too. They're just they're looking in their little hat, trying to figure out which lineage you are. So
yeah. So I wouldn't say that it's taught over the pulpit to be racist, but is it, it is.
They won't let, and I don't think the teachings, if I remember correctly, those who sided with Lucifer were cast down to be demons here on the earth. So,
yeah.
So I think Brigham Young's teaching was that that was Cain's curse or something like that. Whatever bullshit belief that they put that around. Sorry, those people out there that believe in.
But it's not necessarily taught over the pulpit. You be a racist towards this particular color of people. It's not taught that. But it is individual families and their interpretations of what Brigham Young said at the beginning of the church. Because Joseph Smith, the founder of the religion, he had African American people in the church, and that there was no problem with it. It was Brigham Young who was very much a racist who caused a lot of that. So in the AUB, is it taught over the pulpit? No. My mom now, on the other hand, I don't know if she made it back over to this new life. She never taught us to see color. And so in our family, we have Hispanics, we have Tongan, we have Japanese. And so my mom had 11 kids, and out of her 11 kids, these are, my kids are Hispanic. There's Japanese, there's Tongan, there's El Salvadorian, there's the Italian kids are darker than my kids. So there's Italian, there's Lebanese. I'm hoping I'm catching them all, but no, I don't think that it's, well, at least it never was when I was there. So I think that a lot of people like to get hung up on that to try to make the AUB white supremacists. I don't believe they're white supremacists by any means.
Based on the paperwork I have, which I'll bring out, excommunication, I won't even make it to the celestial kingdom. I'm ranked down. So those of you that don't get all your stuff probably will see me in whatever they consider hell.
Yeah.
I just think it's all going to be the same place, and they'll be surprised to see me walk up. Hey, how you guys doing? They're like, how did you make it? Well, you're in hell. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. No, I think that just makes for better headlines and flashy headlines and salacious titles if they say, oh, the AUB is white supremacist. So I think that's where some of that comes from. Let's see. What was the hardest part of your beliefs to deconstruct? Or inversely, was there something that was taught to you that you always felt wasn't right? Well, the entire religion never felt right to me. I think the hardest thing that I was taught, that's a good question.
That is. I'm going to have to think about that one.
I'm like,
I questioned because it seemed like they would teach us one thing, that we fought a war in heaven for free agency to be able to choose. And then they taught the exact opposite. You don't get to choose. You have to choose what's right, things like that. And I'm like, everything that they taught had a conflict to it.
Right.
And so I was always questioning, and I was rebellious. So
yeah. So my mom is on here, and she said everyone was welcomed in our home growing up. I was blessed with some of the most amazing African Americans in my life. So yeah, my mom taught us not to see color. None of her kids ever. And so that's why I think that people like to lump it in as an AUB thing, where I would say it's more of an individual thing. Just like in the LDS church, there's a lot of individuals that feel a certain way about things. Elizabeth says, but Blacks of African descent are prevented from temple rituals like endowments and weddings and getting the priesthood, right? They are. Yeah. So they are blocked from being full members of that church. They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that aren't full members of the church,
right.
I would say.
Right. And so yeah, they absolutely are. But am I saying that what I'm saying is it's not taught over the pulpit to be racist towards these people or those people or this other group of people. It's not ever, at least it wasn't for me. I never heard those types of speeches, is what I'm saying. Doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, and doesn't mean that it's not an individual, hey, this is what we're happening. But yeah, good point, Laurie. Thank you. Or Elizabeth, thank you.
Elizabeth.
Because that is true. In my opinion, that's kind of the definition of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could look at it.
Yeah. It's supremacy of priesthood.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really is. They feel like
because it's not just African American people that they won't allow to have the priesthood.
Yeah.
It's other, I mean, you could be white, and if you are of a certain descent, they don't allow it to be. Yeah. So that's why I don't know that I would look at it like white supremacy, because there's a lot of people of white descendant so I agree with what Cory said.
Give the priesthood to
that it's a priesthood. Well, how did you just say that? That it's a priesthood supremacy.
It's a priesthood supremacy.
Yeah.
They feel like they're better because they live a higher law, that they're better, that they're God's chosen people, and they will deselect and push out people that they don't feel like will ever, and that it's anybody. They will push anybody out.
It doesn't matter necessarily if you're African American. That's not necessarily what defines why you can't do those things. It's they just think that They just think that they are superior to 99%. My mom just said they're not blocked since 1979 and shouldn't be. They're not blocked in the main church, the mainstream LDS church. And they never should have been. That's not the way that the church was originally set up. Let's see. Yeah, punk rock polygamist. Okay, I remember when this happened. This was actually, I found so much, I got a good giggle. Punk rock polygamist said, based on the DNA test, he was told he didn't have the priesthood, and he did a whole interview about it. So see, it's a priesthood supremacy thing too. It's not,
they can give you the priesthood, but based on, it can be taken away, or it's like, I gave it to you, but you don't really have it.
Yeah. When that whole thing happened with punk, so I know him personally and his family personally, related to a bunch of them. That was, oh my gosh, some of the most superior people who thought they were so much better than anyone else found out that they had certain descendants, and it was to me, it knocked a couple people off their thrones, and rightfully so. They're very, very much think that they're very superior to a lot of other people, but it's not just one color. That's why it's so hard to explain. I'm not trying to, I'm not even trying to defend it at all. I'm just saying that's just not, that's another reason why we left too, is because we don't agree with it in any way. What are you saying?
Licking butter off somebody's bread will get you blocked from having the priesthood.
Yeah, licking the butter off someone's bread will get, that's, ask Cory. He got blocked from having the priesthood from, So no, it's definitely, that's always a touchy subject, because all I can do is say what I was taught growing up. And I fortunately had a mother who was highly against any of that stuff. And I never heard any of that stuff, spewed over the pulpit, because it's just trash. It's just garbage. So, and we don't agree with it in any way, shape, or form. And we don't teach our children that. So
they're amazing human beings. We're all brothers and sisters of the same.
Yeah. So no, I would agree with you, Elizabeth, Elizabeth, in that what you're saying. I would definitely agree with you on that. And it is another reason Cory and I don't have anything to do with the polygamist group either. So no, and that's always a touchy subject. It's one that I hate getting into sometimes, because you just never know if you're going to say the right thing or not say the right thing, or hurt somebody's feelings or not hurt somebody's feelings. You know what I mean? And so it is hard. I'm just grateful that, I had a mother who cared more about human beings than anything else. So thanks, Mom. So, there are many new articles on how in 1978, the AUB got a huge surge of new members when the LDS Church opened the church to Black members. Yeah, I believe that's true.
I'm sure they did.
Unfortunately.
So.
Yeah. And Mary says, in my opinion, all churches are wrong. My mom left our church and divorced, not allowed to not to get communion. They make up stupid rules in churches. I fully agree with you, which is why we don't subscribe to any church. Because I fully agree with that. I just think that anything that teaches not to care about another person as a human being, I have no interest in having any part of. So,
talking about communion, I was a little kid, and our communion went around, and they all drank out of one cup. And so, as a little child, I quickly didn't take of communion.
Yeah. And nobody got individual cups. Everyone shared the same cup.
Sit there and play like I took some and pass it.
I was like, oh. I have a severe germ phobia. I have my whole life, and I'm going to guarantee it came from that shit.
Yeah.
Because have some liquid cold sores, everyone. Oh my gosh. Or you'd get it and there'd be floaties in it, because they did the bread first. And then they did the water after. And so you'd get it and there'd be floaties of bread in it. And you're just like, what it was so gross.
I'm such a food snob because of that, the way we grew up. So
yeah, it was horrible. But that's the way that they believe that you should do it. It shouldn't be an individual. Let's see. My friend left her very physically abusive husband, and the Baptist church would no longer allow her in their choir. She could not help or teach Sunday school. See, it's stories like and the stories that we have growing up, which is why we don't subscribe to any religion. I mean, I feel like I am very much, we are all human beings that all deserve to be loved, regardless of where you are, who you are, where you came from, where you didn't come from. You're living, breathing with blood in your veins. You deserve to be loved.
We're all children of the same maker.
Right. So. Somebody says, agreed. Yeah. Oh my God. No. Yeah. It was horrible. It was one of the worst experiences.
If they did wine, I probably would have.
No, they don't do wine or grape juice for their communion. And they have, though, in very certain circumstances, and it's very small, elite groups that but not as a general for the general population. They don't do that. They don't use wine or anything. Yuck. I still ask Dad not to shake hands at church during the cold and flu. Yeah. During the cold and flu season. That's the thing in the AUB. One kid got sick and everybody got sick. One kid got chickenpox. Everybody got chickenpox. In the Catholic Church, they have a cloth that they'd use to wipe the cup. Never took the wine. Oh, that still doesn't even work. Like there's still like residue. Oh, it's gross. Goes against everything I think the church should be. I agree with you. Elizabeth, I always thought it was hypocritical of the Browns to ask the world to accept them for their chosen lifestyle, yet the church rejected members for their skin color, something out of their control. Amen.
Yeah.
100% agree with you on that one.
Absolutely.
100. I mean, how can you say, oh, accept us, but we're not going to accept somebody else? It makes no sense. Let's see. I'm Catholic and they do the same with the communion. I haven't been to church in years. Yeah. Yeah, it's gross. Heavenly Father wanted Cory to come to us and make fun of Robin. Yeah, and the problem is that the AUB church building, there would be 300-400 people at church. And I mean, they had, 12 to 16 young men that would serve. So they didn't all drink out of the same, but I mean, imagine 400 people that drank out of less than 20 glasses all at the same time. What's the AUB stance on alcohol? It's the same as the word of wisdom. They don't.
What's the big fancy word?
What?
Medical purposes only.
Medicinal purposes only. Yeah.
That's why all the kids were sick.
That's why.
Blackberry brandy.
Blackberry brandy was my mom's go-to choice. And they do hold the stance of no alcohol, but 90% of the people I know don't adhere to that. Yeah. So only a few of us thought we had to follow all the rules. I thought I had to follow all the rules. I never adhered to, I would never do stuff like that until I watched.
See you, Cindy. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for being here, Cindy. We were actually not going to stay on much longer anyways, but we are. How did Cory's cold? Feeling sick and going to blame Cory on it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had about 100 people at our house last week for the holidays because both of our mothers stayed with us. And so everyone came over to say hi to her. So it was inevitable. I cannot tell you how many times I Lysoled all of my door handles, all of my light switches, all the railings in the house, and then I on my hands and knees crawling around at kid level trying to wash the walls. I get pretty OCD about it when it's the cold and flu season. Look at Cory turning around the Sullivan trauma into humor. So funny. Oh my gosh.
You gotta get some humor about if you can laugh about the idiocy that these guys talk about and do, and then it can make sense, I guess, or you can get through it. So right. I don't always laugh. I do try to make up jokes about it, but man, when I'm watching some of her purity speech, it just made my skin crawl. I was just like, oh, it throws me back, I think, into PTSD of my childhood.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm so thankful I'm not in that anymore. And I'm thankful that my kids haven't had to grow up in that area.
Let's see. What's your advice to women leaving who lived under the misogyny to help them find their worth as humans? A lot of therapy.
Yeah.
So when I left my ex-husband, it was really hard. And I don't feel like I found my own value our worth even completely until the last few years. I did a ton of therapy. When I did therapy too, I tried to always make sure that the therapist had no religious affiliations, especially not Mormon affiliation. I mean, I did do some Christian ones, but I made sure that they did not have any Mormon affiliations. And maybe I was prejudiced towards that. I did not want to have any sort of religion come into the therapy session. So I was very cautious about who I used. I did a ton. I mean, I went to California, did a ton of therapy out there. I didn't get into like healing plant medicines until about 4 or 5 years ago. So that's why I'm saying that's where I really feel like I started to heal the most. Because especially coming out of such an abusive marriage and such an abusive ex-husband who was very misogynistic, extremely misogynistic. That's one thing I was going to talk about on this live too. I kind of forgot. So the whole purity speech, this will go, thank you, Elizabeth, for asking that question, because you triggered my memory. So my ex-husband is on this, like, I don't know, found Jesus thing again. And he does very public speeches to apologize. And he did a very public apology to me all over social media about how he treated me like complete shit during our marriage because I was sexually abused as a child. And somebody else took something that belonged to him. And so he treated me like complete shit through our entire marriage because he thought he was better than me because of that. And so he's like, what do you want? And so I turned him in to a couple of the different social media platforms trying to get it. And he sends me a direct message. He's like, what the F word do you want from me? I've apologized. Can you not take my apology? And so it's very misogynistic, and yet he felt like he needed to apologize to me in a public forum. And oh my gosh, the comments that he got on that from other polygamous people were disgusting. Oh, good for you. I'm so glad you found Christ. Hopefully she can find it in her heart to forgive you. And yet he treated me like complete garbage for 10 years of that marriage because I was used goods, because I was a small child that was sexually abused as a small child. And he even said that in his post. Someone else took something that belonged to me. And so it is extremely misogynistic in this society. And if I think, that one did kind of set me back a little bit, and I had to do some recentering after I read it. But it just made me come out even more about speaking out publicly. He was threatened that I was speaking out publicly. And so that's why he did it, is because he was trying to get ahead of me speaking out publicly. So thank you for that, because I was going to bring that up, because that had everything to do with like the purity thing, because my purity was stolen. I was less than, and he did me a favor by marrying me when I was used goods. And those are his words, not mine. Let's see. Sorry, that got kind of heavy there for a second. But, and we talk about that I've talked about that in some of the podcasts that I've already posted to this channel. I've talked about some of those things too, and because they're heavy, they're very heavy, and they're not fun conversations. But yeah, let's see. So thank you for that question, because it did trigger that, because that's why these purity speeches are so beyond disgusting, because that's what it does to these kids. Then they grow up and they treat other people like, if they've kept their purity, then they treat the other people who haven't as less than. And then they marry them, and then they treat them like complete crap. So it's horrible. I hope Cory's feeling better. Sorry.
No.
Cory's over here reading comments while I'm spouting off. I hope Cory's feeling better. Tell me, was it a death-like experience? Did you see the Grim Reaper? Haha, Cory. Cody's words when he had COVID. Yeah. Cory,
my man colds are pretty rough.
Yeah.
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
So
let's see. I missed the beginning part, and not wanting to hear your thoughts about purity speech. My husband and I just watched it for my husband's first time. I guess I stole his purity. So we actually, there's going to be 2 videos now, because we had to stop halfway through because our camera disconnected. So our thoughts on the purity speech before you just got here are going to be on the other video.
But we can just update it. It was just, it gave us the icks, something that we grew up with, that purity speech was taught multiple times over the pulpit, family home evenings, all of that stuff. I felt like it's just a way to shame or scare the kids to keep them in control, and instead of having an honest, open communication with them about sex. So, and some sex education, so you don't get pregnant when you're doing that. So yeah, no, I don't know.
Yeah,
and
I could have.
It was inappropriate to be doing that for some of those young kids. Those young kids don't even know what they're talking about. They're like, and I think she was trying to sell her jewelry from them. Look
her
at this,
purity jewelry.
this
Oh,
purity
look. Oh,
jewelry
yeah, because she had the
I got
heart.
the purity
Cory was
jewelry.
like, oh my
You
gosh.
can buy it at Sister Wife's Closet, but yes, give this to your kids so that they think that they have to keep. Yeah. And it's owned by this. I'm holding it right now, but it's owned by that guy. Here, I'm giving it to you. It's
oh my God. I wanted to smack her. Yeah. I was like,
and she stole
her ex-husband's purity if he was younger than her. Let's see. Oh shoot. Dang it. I was going to read that question and it jumped. Why did he marry if all of in his eyes, if you were tainted, right? Mm-hmm. Because I know I don't want to sound like Robin when I say this, but my family married in. We were considered fresh blood. Both my parents married in. So I had no relations or anything to anybody on there. And the girls in my family were a lot more attractive than a lot of the other girls who were like, they
weren't inbred.
They weren't inbred. And so because I was a trophy for him. And so looks wise, I was a trophy wise, butter wise, I was already been ruined. Cory, so we're going to laugh at this one.
Oh.
Okay, let's see. Now the comments are going too fast and I can't get them. Cory should come up with several nefarious revelations and make an entire podcast, an episode to reveal them. We'll work on that one because I think that one would be hilarious.
I was already working on the exit poll for what's it called when somebody gets a release. How was your last marriage?
Yeah. Someone said that on our last live. Do you have a customer service survey? How was your experience being married in this group? And would you leave? And
is that your cup of tea?
Yeah. When they get their release, if there's a customer service experience survey they can fill out. Let's see. Sorry, these are jumping so fast. Religion can be heavy and we know it shouldn't be, right? Which is why we don't want to subscribe to a particular group. Anything that causes a man to come between you and your maker, I don't believe in at all.
Love one another.
Yep. I love your family's sense of humor. Thanks. Elsa says, I'm back. What did I miss? Oh yeah, I got heavy there for a second. I'm so glad I finally caught a live. Yay. Apostate badges, not symbols. Sorry, I can't. Maybe I'm not reading that one right. Mel, you should get Cory that locket for Christmas. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he instantly was like, is this a plug for her business? Like, what the hell? Where did this little locket come from? She's throwing on the floor. When Robin...
Durable?
Look at it. That didn't break. It looks like it's still intact. When Robin made that speech, I loved Christine's face. You could tell she didn't agree with the situation. I know. That's what I said that earlier.
I didn't know if it was edited or if she's just like, oh.
Is she disgusted right now? Like, what's she doing? Is there still poverty in the AUB from people getting married too young before getting educated and established careers? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely there was. I just feel like I had more of a stronger will because I didn't graduate high school till I was 25. I had a baby my senior year of high school. I did go back and got my high school diploma at 25 years old. And I was so determined that I would not be bound to this man because of finances that and one day I remember telling him, because he kept saying to me, you're never going to be able to support yourself financially. You'll never be able to support your children financially. You're never going to, kept threatening me all these things about finances. And I just remember looking at him saying, I'll make more money than you. And I don't need your money. My mental and emotional stability, my children were more important to me. And yeah, I did. I made my first full year out of that marriage. I almost made $200,000 that year. And that was just sheer determination. But some people are not that way, and it's harder for them. And I did have a 1-year-old. I had a 1-year-old when we got divorced. And I had a 1-year-old and shoot, a 5-year-old, 7-year-old. I had to work hard. That was not easy. Let's see. Attaboy, Cory, you got a trophy wife and royalty. He did. I tell him, you're welcome all the time. I think I actually got luckier than he did. Yeah. Is sex ed taught at all? And what about the HPV vaccines and cancer risks? No, it's not taught at all. They leave that basically up to the parents. And if your parents don't teach you, you know nothing. My sister just jumped on and made a comment on here. I saw that. And yeah, when she became of age to be active, I jumped right on that and made sure that she was taken care of so that she didn't have a baby at 17. You're welcome, little sister.
And I learned about it. I had a brother that was 14 years older than me that,
yeah,
when I got a certain age, he was like, this is the things that happen so you don't get people pregnant. And I'm like, sweet.
Hi, Shirley.
I'll take that into consideration.
The customer service should also include their opinions of your father's services for the release. Yeah, I think it's so funny. I don't think my mom was on that last live when we were talking about that, but I think a customer survey would be so hilarious. We really should do that. Just for fun.
Got my diesel gene wife.
At least you didn't call me a lot lizard wife. Yeah. I don't want to be a lot lizard wife. I got married at 17 too. What were we thinking? I got married because there was no room for me in a home, and yeah, I was way too young. What kind of work did you do? That's when I started mortgages. That's when I started in the mortgage industry, was back in 2000. And interest rates were they'd always been at an all-time high, and they were just starting to come down, and I just worked my butt off. And then I've been in the mortgage industry since 2000. So this February of 2025 will be 25 years that I've been doing real estate. You should send that survey to Mary. Oh my gosh, I totally would. I 100% would. Cory got his diesel jeans wife. Yeah. Let's see. Robin's mom dropped the ball on that one. Yeah, she did. Good evening from Sweden. Oh my gosh, thank you. Listening to you is the absolute best way to spend a Friday evening putting my son to bed. Oh, thank you. My sister says, haha, I'd already gotten on the pill, but I did appreciate that. I actually drove you to the clinic, and it was over in West Valley. Let's see. Your
mom's on here.
I know. Because I think she was 16 at the time. I can't remember. Is your dad going to change the culture of young marriages? I think so. It hasn't been as big of a cultural thing in the AUB as it is in other groups, but it's still there and it still does exist. I had to get permission to get married that young. I had to go talk to the prophet at the time, which at the time was Owen Allred. And so, but it doesn't happen under 18 age marriages don't happen as frequently there. Now, but they did. I mean, shoot, the original prophet, I think, married a 14-year-old. So, yeah. Lisa says, out of the fire and into the furnace. Yeah, that's what it felt like. And then I got pregnant right off the bat, and had a baby 9 months later. And yeah.
Not with me.
Not with Cory. No, the ex-husband. It was horrible. Cody and Mary courted a 17-year-old before marrying Janelle. I've read that. I've heard that, and I don't know who that was. I'm curious. Well, I'm not curious enough to find out, but I've heard that. And I do think that happens, but if they go to the leadership to ask about marriage, the leadership will typically tell them they need to wait till she's 18. But don't side-eye me. But that doesn't always happen. I'm not trying to defend AUB in any way, shape, or form here. It doesn't always happen. It does, I think it's bullshit that they can court women they're not women, they're girls, that they can court girls that young and prep them for marriage. So yeah, I still think it's very predatory and very abusive. Let's see. I heard her parents said no. Good for her parents, because that doesn't happen a lot. So I'm glad for her parents. It was in their book. Okay. Sorry, Cory is waiting on a joke or a smart ass comment.
Well, I was, but I edited my brain.
He edited his thoughts as we were coming down on that one. So that's why he waited for Robin, who was 12 at the time. Oh my gosh, I about died when Mary made that comment. That was so hilarious. That was such a perfect comment for her to make. So yeah, I think we're going to start wrapping up. We've been on here. We were going to do another 30 minutes, but it's now been 50 because we just enjoy talking to you guys so much. And we always have such a good time. And Cory makes so much fun of me after this is all over. But you what?
I just had to edit one of my jokes. So I got to.
Yeah, don't edit. People say don't edit. Do it. You have to just say it out loud. Oh.
Well, one of the new things that they tried to do with the AUB is one of the rules is if you're going to marry a wife, she just has to be a little bit older than your oldest child.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that the new one?
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, as long as she's older than your oldest child, it's good.
I know I need to see my sister's comment on that one. Yeah, my dad's last wife, that was the criteria. She was older than his oldest child. Right. Oh, yep, there's the laugh right there. So that was a hard one to swallow. I won't even lie. That was a hard pill to swallow. Because yeah, she was my best friend for a long time. Let's see. I am a Reform Jew, least fundamental of all sects in Missouri. I have a Catholic mom and a Jewish dad, but was raised Jews. I needed to convert as an adult and called to learn as an ethnic call versus religion. As an adult, I needed to convert as an adult and called to learn as an ethnic call versus religion. I'm not sure. Maybe you can open that up for me just a little bit more. I'm not sure what. Because yeah, it just says I'm a Reform Jew, the least fundamental of all sects in Missouri. I had a Catholic mom and a Jewish dad, but was raised Jewish. I needed to convert as an adult and called to learn as an ethnic call versus religion. I see. Yeah. I think religion is, yeah, I can't go down that road. Appreciate your honesty and your time. Thanks again. Cory is your sidekick. Cory has a secret life off to the side, reading comments and facial expressions. I know the first time I asked him, I was like, hey, I've been doing this TikTok thing. You want to go live with me? I've never done a live. And he was like, no, are you dumb?
I'd always watch.
Yeah. He'd sit in the other room and he'd watch, but he never wanted to. And so I'm like, come on, babe. People like to talk to us. Like, let's just do it. And that first live blew up so much and people just loved it. And Cory was hilarious. And yeah, that started our live journey and our Q&A journey. And then we started doing live recaps of the show, which we torture ourselves to watch so that we can bring you a live recap. Yeah, my sister says that's been the rule for at least 25 years. Yeah. Thumbs up, everyone, help this channel. Thank you guys. Yeah, if you can, we do have a goal to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And so if you can share us, like us, we really appreciate it. We did get the buy a coffee thing. We threw it in there. I'm reaching out to Tanya, the director of Holding Out Help, to see if we can get a donation button on that for the holiday season. So if anyone feels so inclined to donate to Holding Out Help, which is an organization that helps people leaving polygamy. Somebody says, hi again, sorry, but a personal question. How do your kids deal with knowing how you were treated and possibly how they came to be? You don't have to answer that. At the time I wanted each one of my kids. The only one I didn't choose right away because I didn't know any better was my first one. Because I was just like, but it was one of those where God will bless me with a baby whenever he blesses me with a baby. So I wasn't disappointed when I found out I was pregnant. But our kids have been really supportive of even us going live, even us having our channels and stuff. They've begged us for years to talk about it, but we talk about everything with our kids. There's really nothing that we won't talk about with our kids. I mean, everything we talk about with our kids, even the worst mistakes we've made in our lifetime, we talk about with our kids. Not just so that we can take ownership of what we have gone through. And so,
and I'd rather them learn from our mistakes than have to go through it themselves. So
yeah. So definitely. Oh gosh, Bree became a member. I don't know what that means. Thank you, Bree.
Yeah, thanks, Bree.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that. I don't know what that means. So yeah, we definitely, there's literally nothing that I have done in my lifetime that I have not talked to my kids about. So they know, hopefully they'll learn from our mistakes and our lessons. And plus I want them to know that their parents are real and that we're not some hypocrites that's telling them one thing and then going out and doing something else. And so we want them to, to really trust us. If they have hardships in their life, they can come to us. So let's see. Do you remember any other nationalities in your religion? Yeah, we've gone over that. So there's I mean, a huge amount of Hispanics. There's a temple in Mexico. And then quite a few Japanese people.
Nationality?
Yeah, different nationalities.
There was a community in, I don't know if that's
in England.
England. So
yeah.
English nationality, but
yeah. So
Canadian. So there's a community in Canada, down in
Mexico, down in England. Like they're all over the world.
I consider Montana a nationality.
Hillbilly Hickville sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does a parent date a kid's friend, no matter what the age? Sorry, that's gross to me. Yeah, it felt weird. I won't lie. It felt weird, but I mean, I'm still friends with her. We don't really talk hardly at all anymore, but I adore her children. And you just go with what you can do. So I try not to talk too much about it. Has AUB traveling like the communion cup. Yeah, it's true. Everyone shares it. So, but
wives.
Yeah.
Pass around wives like communion cup.
Right. So thank you guys so much for going through all of our technical difficulties. But she's your other mom, Mel. I know. I get told that all the time. What's funny, okay, one more comment because he's got to bring this up. What's funny is Cory sent her ex-husband a picture and said, "Hey, how's your new brother husband doing?" He did not think it was funny. And Cory's like, and then he types back, "It's too soon, dude. You can't make fun of me yet. It's too soon." So we just have to find a good sense of humor or you'll get lost in the heaviness of it. But you guys have a great weekend. Yeah, thank you guys. I'm going to schedule the next live, so you'll find it in our profile. And hopefully we're
going to do it on my computer and get all this stuff worked out.
Yeah.
We might have to do a test live before then just to see what it sounds like to us. So.
Yeah. So that we can get all these kinks worked out. But thank you for being so patient and coming back to the second live. Both of these will obviously be up on our profile, but if you can help us spread the word and try to get to our 10,000 goal, we really appreciate that. So thanks everyone. Have a great night.